Okay, Aaron Adams here, Alpine Capital Solutions, U.S. property investor. We have quite a few clients that have expressed interest in investing in the U.S. And typically, investors are thinking one of two ways: buy a property like a single-family home or an apartment building, maybe participate in some kind of a syndication where you're putting money with a U.S. investor as a partner. Loaning money to U.S. investors is a typical way that I see my international clients participating in the U.S. market, maybe doing flips. I want to take 10 minutes today and give you an overview of a way that you may not have thought of to invest in the U.S. market and achieve high single-digit, low double-digit returns with zero headaches, with zero kind of problems. And the strategy that I want to talk to you about today is called notes. Now, if you're familiar with how loans work in the U.S. market, when you get a loan on a property, it has a note and it also has a mortgage. Basically, buying notes lets you be the bank for a U.S. property owner. So imagine if I had a single family home in Los Angeles and I owned it free and clear for $400,000 US, and I sold it to a homeowner who was willing to pay 8% interest on their money. Maybe they didn't have great credit. Maybe they didn't have a lot of credit, so they're willing to pay a higher interest rate for that property. And so I sell the property to them for $400,000. Maybe they give me $50,000 down, a little bit over 10%. And what I'm owed is the remaining $350,000. So essentially, I have a note with a promise to pay from that homeowner for $350,000. Now, I can sit back and over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, collect that mortgage payment and make the 8%, or I could sell that note to you. So imagine that you give me the $350,000, and then going forward, I have that homeowner make the payments to you. That's the business of buying and selling notes, and it's a great way that I think for non-U.S. investors to invest in the U.S. market. When you own property here in the U.S. as just a property owner, you're dealing with landlord issues, you're dealing with maintenance, you're dealing with taxes and property taxes and insurance and state income taxes and federal income taxes. And there's a lot of things that you have to deal with that can be difficult from overseas. And buying a note allows you as an investor to be the bank for a homeowner or a property owner here in the U.S. And it's a strategy that a lot of my clients have really enjoyed taking advantage of. I want to talk to you specifically today about a segment of the U.S. housing market that you may have heard about or may have been exposed to, but not sure. Because a lot of you have seen mobile homes and manufactured homes. And let me throw up on the screen here an example of one. This is your typical home that's been prefabricated in a factory and then put on site. They call these mobile homes. They call them manufactured homes. It's probably something that you've seen in the past. Now, I personally love investing in mobile homes and mobile home parks, and specifically in the whole communities. Now, what we do in our business model, and I own 6 mobile home parks across the U.S. I own them in North Carolina. I own them in Missouri. I own them in Idaho. This is actually a home that I have in Missouri. And so the idea for me as an investor is I buy the park, I put one of these new homes in there, I sell it to a homeowner. They're making as you can see here, a $393 a month loan payment on the home. And then additionally, they pay me $300 a month for the space underneath the home in the form of space rent. So every month currently I'm getting 2 checks from this client. Now, the homeowner owes me still $47,000. They're at a rate of 8% interest over the next 20 years. So imagine a scenario where you give me the $47,000 as an investor, and then I redirect that homeowner every month to pay you the $393 loan payment. You don't have maintenance issues, you don't have taxes, you don't have insurance. Those are all taken care of by the homeowner. So it's a clean way to make 8% on your money while investing in the U.S. Now, sometimes I meet investors who've never heard of these, Obviously, there aren't a lot of pre-manufactured housing in other countries around the world. And so if this is something you're not familiar with, let me kind of give you an overview of what this industry is and why it can be appealing for you as an investor. Now, in 1976, prior to 1976, in the US, there were what were called mobile homes. And mobile homes were what you've seen, the trailers, you know, the single wide, 10 or 12 feet wide, 60 feet long. It's what most people think of when they think of a manufactured home. Since 1976, the reason they're called manufactured homes is because they've been not only manufactured in a factory like the mobile homes, but they've been required since 1976 to be built to the same building standards and codes that all houses are required and held to. And so that changed the industry, because previously mobile homes were a lot more like RVs, recreational vehicles, or trailers that you hook up and you take to a campground. Manufactured homes are built to the same building codes and standards as any house. And so as a result, you have a much higher quality product in a manufactured home. The main difference between manufactured and modular homes is that modular homes are typically on a permanent foundation and are completely financeable for a homeowner. However, like this manufactured home that you can see here that's sitting in a park where they don't own the land underneath, where it's just a leasehold estate, these are very difficult for U.S. homeowners to get financing. Now, imagine in this market here in Missouri, there are very few homes under $100,000. And so even though somebody's paying me $300 a month and essentially renting the dirt underneath the home, it still gives somebody a chance to be a homeowner and stop renting completely. So it's kind of a hybrid ownership / renting, but for a lot of Americans, it's a better step than just simply renting. And so that's why we have a lot of investors I have a lot of homeowners who, when we can get them in a home under $100,000, is something they're very interested in, something that's exciting for them. Now, for you as an investor, we sell these notes all the time on brand new homes. And so it's nice because you're making a loan on an asset that's brand new. Here's one that I have out in Idaho. Okay, this one was built in 2019, 24 feet wide. It's 1,173 square feet of living space, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. I sold this home for $100,000, and they brought in $11,000 down payment, so a very high down payment. They owe me, as you can see here, $89,000 over 20 years, and the interest rate on that is 8%. So they're paying almost $9,000 a year, and the monthly payment on that's $744 a month. So imagine that you have $90,000 US, and you would be interested in making 8% on your money. You give me the $89,000, and I would then instruct that homeowner to make the $744 a month loan payment to you. You don't have any repairs. You don't have to pay insurance. You don't pay any taxes. All of those are taken care of by the homeowner. You are simply the bank for them, making 8% on your money. It's a very clean way to make 8%. Now, this underlying asset that your money is secured by, because you would go on title as the lender for this, or your U.S. company that we could help you set up, your LLC, would be on title. You can see that it's a brand new home, okay? A brand new home, very nice condition, factory warranty from the manufacturer. And so there's a lot of security with your money in terms of lending on these. If you're interested in learning more about buying notes, it's a very, I don't want to dig too deep on this today. I wanted to kind of give you an overview because I know that many of you haven't thought about investing in notes as a way to participate in the U.S. housing market. Now, you can buy notes on anything. You could buy notes on single-family homes. You could buy notes on commercial buildings. You could buy notes, obviously, on manufactured homes. One of the reasons that I have found that my international clients like buying notes on manufactured homes is because they're smaller dollar amounts. You can see here that all you need to get into this U.S. market is $47,000 to buy a note. That's completely unleveraged. You don't, in this case, $90,000. So we typically have notes anywhere from $40,000 up to about $110,000, all paying 8%. Now, for many of you, 8% is not sexy, but when you think about how secure that 8% is, how little volatility there will be, we get a big enough down payment from the homeowner to really minimize the default. Now, the other big benefit of manufactured homes is if there is a default, if they do stop paying the mortgage, it's not your typical foreclosure. Many times if you foreclose on a single family home or an apartment complex here in the US, as the note holder, you're looking at 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, and it's expensive. It's several $1,000s. Manufactured homes are unique because they're considered to be personal property. And it's not on a permanent foundation, these homes that you can see here. So if one of these homeowners were to stop paying the mortgage payment, it would not be a foreclosure. It would simply be a court action to take back the personal property, very similar to a repossession like you would do on an automobile. And so it takes not 6 months to a year, it takes a few weeks. It's much easier to reclaim the home if they stop making payments. And so no matter how you look at it, sometimes a very secure and easy 8% can be a lot more sexy than 10, 12, 14, 15%, where you're the actual property owner. You're dealing with evictions, you're dealing with repairs, you're dealing with all the taxes and the insurance. For many of you who are living outside of the US, there's obviously more attractive returns to be had, but also more unattractive downside and volatility that you could be left stuck with. And so if an easy 8% is something that you're interested in, then investing in notes could be an excellent strategy for you. And it's something that we have several notes that come up every month. And so reach out to us if that's something that you're interested in. We'd be happy to give you more info and send you samples of notes that we currently have available. So I appreciate your time today and look forward to interacting with you soon.